So now it's time for a bit more waterfall photography. And we were just going down the highway and spotted this tiny little creek just tumbling down this hill, absolutely surrounded with gorgeous fall colours. So we're going to start at the bottom of the waterfall, which is already a lovely shot there with that 1, 2, 3 triple little cascade. And then we'll just work our way up because the sun is kind of creeping into the canyon a bit, which we don't like. It's just a little bit too hot. So once it's all in shade and the sun has moved around and we can get further up to those higher spots, just kind of work our way up and see what we can find. Okay, so Chris has framed up his first shot and it's quite a good shot actually. Okay, so you see the waterfall is pouring into the centre of the frame. So right in the centre, you've got the two falls, those two little driblets. Now, Chris, could you use your extremely meaty finger to point at the pool there? So if you look at the pool, that's a good finger, that's great, that, Chris. If you look at the pool, you'll see these leaves that are kind of swirling around in a circle. And when we get a long exposure, that looks really quite tasty. I'm sorry for shouting in your ear there, Chris. So are you quite happy with that?
I think what would make it that much better is if we could, you know, create some more swirling leaves here.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
You know, it'd be nice if there was a few more in there. You know, we could get a nice circling effect with those leaves.
Yeah, and the long exposure, yeah.
You want to, you know, maybe throw some in for me?
Oh, you want me to be a little lackey and throw stuff for you?
Yeah, to get your hands dirty, just throw some leaves.
No, I don't really feel like doing that, Chris, to be honest.
What if I gave you something?
Like what?
Well, I know something you like.
Where do you want the leaves?
I'd like them perfectly placed in that corner, please.
I can do that.
I'll tell you when.
Hang on, can't get over my belly. So I've got some leaves here, Chris.
If you could perfectly place them just in that corner.
Just chuck them.
Yeah. Go, Dan, go.
How's that?
Could be better, but we'll take the shot.
Yeah, okay, I'll do it again. Is that enough, Chris? Or do you need like a bigger handful? Do you want it dispersed a bit wider?
Yeah, dispersed with the leaves.
All right,
flat.
you let me know when you're ready.
Yeah. Go.
Is that good?
I think it'll have to do.
All right, thanks. How many twirls have you got?
I'm not saying.
Well, because there's like 5 levels to this waterfall.
I'm not prepared to divulge that.
All right. We'll get your camera out of the way. It's my turn.
If you're enjoying this video, please bosh that subscribe button and don't forget to tickle my bell. So here's that test shot. First shot of the day, it wasn't a bad warm-up shot, but I knew I could do better. So I pocketed that twirl and we climbed higher up the waterfall to see what we could find.
So I found a really lovely composition, and Chris is feeling quite charitable and he's about to be my leaf chucker. So what we're going to do is throw these leaves into the main falls because it makes this lovely streak. So I'll show you the shot on the back of the camera. You'll see what I'm trying to get, but I just want more of the same. Have a look at this. So this is my last shot, and you should be able to see in the center there, it's a pretty centralized shot. You've got this lovely spiral of leaves, which is, you can see that happening there. Well, that is just a long exposure, which is blurring that. But on top of that, while it was shooting the 6-second exposure, we threw leaves right in front of that main cascade there, and you should hopefully be able to see these streaks on that long exposure. So that's what I'm after. I just want more. So that's quite a big handful you've got there. So I guess I don't need the 10-second timer now. I'll put it on a 2-second timer. So you ready?
Yeah.
Throw it. What a dramatic moment. What a totally, oh, that looks, look at this. This is really good. So hopefully you can see those lovely streaks there. But so Chris, do you need like a you need like a copyright credit for the leaf chucking.
Yes.
Now it's great, but it's all on one side. So now I need one that's kind of doing it in the opposite side. So you think you could go over there for me, Chris? Just
Yeah. Sure.
Oh, cheers, mate. Thanks. Okay, you ready? Is that bundle big enough? And go. Oh, that was. They just kind of went into the side.
They did.
I think they have to be almost thrown over that way, and then they'll find their way back. I mean, he's not a professional leaf chucker. Neither am I. You know, we're just learning as we go. But if you are a professional leaf chucker and you know how we should be doing this, get in touch. Well, that's it. Now that is a big pile. Really toss it over there. Oh, hang on. Look, you premature chucking there, Chris. I mean, hang on. Right on the vinegar stroke. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Go. Oh, that was a much better toss. You're a really good tosser, Chris. Right. Oh, that was quite nice. Have a look at this. So there you can see there's just a little bit more streakage in the left part of that. So I could blend that with the previous shot there and get a nice sort of two-way leaf blur, if you know what I mean.
This was much better, and I could tell that Chris was blown away by the things he'd learned.
Well, I'm really quite happy with how that shot turned out. We've had a pretty good shoot. Did you get any good shots, Chris?
Yeah, I got a good one from just further down the waterfall.
It was quite good, actually.
Yeah.
I did like that. So would you say that you've learned quite a bit over the last couple of days with me?
I wouldn't say a lot. I mean, I could probably learn more out of a Mark Denney YouTube video.
Mark Denney?
Yeah, you know, the guy on YouTube does YouTube videos. It's quite good.
Yeah, he's quite good. It's quite educational, actually. Yeah. So yeah, if you want to book me for some private photography tuition, I am available. I'm sure Mark Denney's all booked up. But yeah, if you're interested, there's a link in the description. Yeah.
Under my guidance, Chris captured another shot it's probably going to win all kinds of awards. But next, it was time for dinner.
So we're down at the campsite after a wonderful day of shooting, and it's dinner time. So I'm having some crackers and a little bit of cheese. I've just had some yogurt and berries. I'm trying to eat a little bit healthier. What are you having there, Chris?
So a mixture of dum biryani and pav bhaji, and a couple of garlic naans.
So you're essentially having a curry.
Yeah, curry while camping.
While I'm eating rabbit food.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's good, is it?
I'll share, but I haven't got enough.
Ain't got enough. About that naan bread though. Looks like you got a few of those. How many naans does one man need?
There's never enough.
It's right. There is one highlight though. So I do have that twirl that you gave me earlier. Thanks for that.
You're going to share that?
Well, it's economy sized, so probably not, Chris. What are you having, love?
I already had it. Diarrhea soup and cheese and crackers.
Was it any good?
Yeah, it was tasty. Just needed salt next time. And then a pound of cheese. Can I have some twirl?
Yeah, I'll share it with you. But not you. I won't lie though, Chris he's pretty good at sharing the delights of the campground. Oh, look at that, eh? You see that?
I'm sorry, I never give.
A warm naan bread. Oh, if only I had some biryani to dip this in and shovel down my cake hole. But I mean, I do like a very dry naan. No curry on it.
So I stared at Chris while he shoveled biryani down his southerner's gullet.
Is it good there?
It's good.
Looks good.
Yeah.
He'll offer me some soon. He's just messing about there, I think.
I'll just tuck into me
know. One of the things I love about Amanda is she actually believes that she's sneaking away this twirl, even though I'm obviously filming her. As night descended, we grabbed 18 minutes of sleep in preparation for our morning shoot at a very special spot.
So this morning we've found ourselves shooting right off the highway. And this is something that I tend to find happens quite often with landscape photography, is that some of the most tranquil and peaceful images that you ever see are often shot right from the edge of a very noisy highway that is not even remotely peaceful or tranquil. But the end result, the image that you shoot from that vantage point, it is often just beautiful. And you would never imagine it came from a noisy highway. And this is a perfect example. Let me show you this. So every time I drive up here, I always drive past this, what I'm going to assume is a beaver pond, because you've just got this random little pond in the middle of nowhere full of dead trees, but everything around it is just teeming with life. So I'm going to guess that this is a beaver pond. And I've driven past it many, many times, and yesterday we went past it and it was flat calm because there was no wind. And I thought we should come back here early in the morning and see if we can get a shot just before or during sunrise. And I'll just flip this around and explain to you what I'm after. So what I'm loving with this scene and the shot that I'm trying to frame up is the balance between life and death. So you've got these just completely dead trees, and they're cold and lifeless, sort of a grey blue colour. But then just above it, and more importantly reflected in the pond, is this gorgeous, vibrant orange life, this light that you can see shining just underneath it. So what I'm trying to do in my shot is exclude all of that you can see up there and just feature the dead trees, but then just underneath them there's this reflection with all that beautiful, vibrant, warm life, that colour. So that is the plan. Let me show you what I've framed up. Right, so let me talk you through this shot. Here's what I'm trying to do. If you look at this frame, this is a 16 by 9, but what I want to do is just crop off the bottom here. I may end up having just a sort of 4:2 panorama, but what's really caught my eye is these two little Christmas trees that you can see here, and then behind it, the way that this tier, they kind of go in a diagonal line just behind it, these slightly bigger ones. I really love that. And of course, like I said before, what I'm really into is this lovely splash of warm colour here against this cold, lifeless dullness really that you see above it. But there's so much detail, and I really do love that contrast between the two, that I feel it's quite striking. And with a reflection like this, it's difficult to drive past this. So that's what I'm going for. Like I say, I might just crop that. And what you're looking at here is very shallow depth of field. So for the video, I've focused on these two little trees at the front, and I've got an aperture of f1.8. So those are sharp, and everything beyond it is blurred. So I will actually shoot the still like that, but then I'll also try a very deep depth of field shot of maybe like f11 or f16, so that everything is in focus. And then afterwards, I'll decide which one I like best. But if this turns out any good, here's a shot.
This shot, it felt like I was close to capturing something great, but just not quite. Time to try something a bit more refined.
And now I'm just shooting a panorama, basically starting over here and just kind of sweeping through the scene to about there. And it's these two trees, so this one here and then this one there, that are going to kind of be on either side of my frame. So this area in the middle will be the center of the frame, and it's just all about that beautiful splash of color and that reflection.
Well, that was the plan, but after a few minor adjustments, I finally solved the puzzle. Whenever you can make somebody look at your image and think, what the hell am I looking at? While still having some obviously recognizable elements, well then you might just have a good shot.
Okay, well that pretty much concludes this landscape photography adventure here in beautiful Nova Scotia. And I got some pretty good shots, and I'm fairly confident that Chris probably got the best shots you've ever created in your life.
Yep.
All right, yeah. And contrary to, you know, what we said yesterday about him not really learning it, you know, that was just a gag. He's learned plenty from me this weekend, haven't you, Chris?
Yeah, it was really productive, especially last night.
Yeah,
I bedded down in my sleeping bag and downloaded some Adam Gibbs and some Mark Denney YouTube videos, and learned a lot from those. So very productive.
So yeah, I mean, if you're interested in some private photography tuition, there's a link in the description below. Yeah. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please give it the old thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, don't forget to tickle my bell, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye. He's just messing about. He did learn. What did you learn? Like focusing?
How to focus my big long lens. A lot. I mean, I could probably learn more out of a Mark Denney YouTube video.
That's a good poker face. Sorry. Right, keep going. You're better at this than I am. This is embarrassing.
I'll lose in a minute.
Okay. Chris, you're a Brit living in Nova Scotia.
Yep.
Round about almost as long as me, within a month. How are you finding it?
For a third world country, I think the roads are really good.
You just can't steal my line. That's rude. But, generally, are you glad you made them? You moved from Ontario, I moved from BC.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'm glad I left Ontario.
Yeah.
Nova Scotia's a nice province, nice people.
Yeah.
Good beer.
Excellent beer.
Yeah. Can't complain about the seafood either.
Yeah.
Scenery's good.
Now, normally these types of things are a bit of a sandwich. So you say like two good things with one bad thing in the middle, because that's just truth. It's honesty. Is there anything you don't like about Nova Scotia?
Apart from the roads.
The roads.
They're not potholes. They're craters.
They're full-blown chasms, down which you may lose your vehicle. One thing I noticed about Nova Scotia when we first arrived, because I needed them, was there's just not many rest areas on the highways. Like in BC and Alberta, there's lots of rest areas. So you can just, stop for a few hours and have a nap. I don't know if that's because there's snow in the winter and they just don't want to plough it. It's a small province. I like that you can pretty much drive around the whole thing comfortably in a couple of days. You wouldn't see that much if you didn't stop, but 2 days you'll get around the whole province, which is quite impressive.
And very, very different scenery throughout that whole journey.
Yeah,
I would say.
Quite diverse.
Don't get sick in Nova Scotia.
Oh yes, the medical system. We're told that if we're lucky, we might find a doctor in a couple of years.
Sure.
But I think a lot of Canada's like that now. It's pretty bad. The other bad thing is, and this is not unique to Nova Scotia, terrible cell phone coverage.
Yes, none up here.
Even when there's no mountains, it's just flatlands. Absolutely diabolical cell phone coverage. But I am kind of used to that from BC because of the mountains, and in Alberta, because of the mountains, the cell coverage was pretty bad. So it's nothing new to me, but I just was surprised that somewhere so flat would be so poorly covered.
And radio stations.
Well, what do you like to listen to?
You get 3 choices in Nova Scotia.
What are they?
French,
Yeah,
country music,
yeah.
or 70s and 80s rock and roll.
I don't mind 70s and 80s rock and roll. Not really into country music. I'll tell you one good thing, and I was surprised at this, is how sunny it is.
Yes.
Because when I was looking at real estate online, there was always these grim grey skies, and I was sort of prepared to come here and be thinking, oh God, I'll never see the sun again. But it's quite sunny. I would say there's been more sun the whole time we've been here than when we lived in BC, which surprised me.
We have had, where we live, in the Annapolis Valley, we have had a very blue sky summer.
Yeah, which I hate because I'm a landscape photographer. But it's good for your mental health. So we should redo this conversation in a year, when we've both spent a year. We've done a full 4 seasons and we know what we're talking about, just to see how we feel about it, whether we love it or hate it. So tune in, and maybe by then Chris will have stopped buying the economy-sized twirls and we'll actually purchase some proper adult-sized twirls.